Today's show is brought to you by Boat Patana of Boat Avenue and Shambhala, Phuket. For more information on their properties, see the link in the description below. Good morning, Thailand. Welcome to our Tuesday program. It's August the 17th. I'm not sure why I had to look down at the laptop to check that, but I did. Morning, Jay.
Hello. Good morning, Tim.
Okay, so we're in our normal shirts today, and the good news is that Jet has stepped up.
Yes, he has.
He was wearing shirts made from his grandmother's curtains yesterday. And I'm not sure where he got that shirt from, but I'm going to have a serious talk to him.
Yeah, he might have an upper hand for both of us in the hair department, but Jet, this is a message directly towards you. If you think that you can challenge us in the shirt game, you're on, my man. You're on.
All right, a quick message from Mike before we go to today's COVID figures. Mike says, report the recoveries as well, as that's just as important. Try to be factual and stop the scaremongering. Well, Mike, the actual screen grab that you sent us when you sent us this complaint included the fact that we reported 21,000 patients have been released from hospital and field hospitals. We always report the recoveries in our daily reports, so thank you for your critique, but perhaps you should read the article before you send your complaint. Right, to today's COVID numbers, Jay.
Right, Tim. Unfortunately, today we have a record high for COVID-related deaths. Today's total deaths were at 239. We still had 20,128 new cases, and 272 of them were from prisons. For total recovered people, we had 20,791 released from hospitals, discharged, and 210,032 still in care.
Right, so the big story today is those record number of deaths.
Yes.
I think like 2 weeks ago, we were getting the record highs as we started getting above 20,000 each day. So we always thought that there was going to be a record number of deaths following a few weeks later. So although the number is horrendous and we're very sorry for those people's family and friends, it was probably to be expected as a follow-up of the rising number of cases. So, that's all we have for the COVID numbers today. We'll have the provincial totals, of course, this afternoon, as we always do. Now, a bit of good news. If you are looking to get vaccinated, there are starting to be walk-in vaccination centres around the country. And this one was sent to us by Moto Z. Here's a quick video she shot up in Chiang Mai yesterday.
So I've taken both my passport and my work permit, but they don't seem bothered with the work permit, more about the passport. So here I am at the next stage. It is 11:40. ค่ะ
passport number
ขอบคุณค่ะ Okay. And that's it.
So thank you to Moto Z for sending that in, and good news that slowly and eventually these walk-in centres are opening up, and they're open to foreigners as well as Thai people. We'll do our best, as we always have, to try and keep you informed when these things happen or which websites you can register at. I know it's been lumpy, as we've said before. Persist, persist, persist. And now, Jay, with a bit of road safety tips.
Now it's time for another segment of Only in Thailand, and today's not so important news about road safety, Tim.
Okay.
Now,
very important.
Have a look at this video.
Okay.
Right? So we've driven our cars, we've complained about, people don't drive well, but sometimes, even in controlled environments, in a muban, you might run into a pole. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. What happened there? Who stuffed that up?
I don't even know. I mean, it looks like a fancy place as well with nice houses, but I guess someone has definitely lost their job or they did something to lose their job. But maybe they hated their job.
Or maybe it's a very sacred pole that
could
couldn't be moved.
It could be. It could be auspicious. Anything's possible.
But that's not all we've got in the way of road safety.
That's not all. So, in a turn left here sign gone wrong, here's a picture where, I mean,
What on earth are they doing?
You can't do anything but just laugh at it. I mean,
So what if you do a left turn there and you run into another car and the police come along and say, okay, we're booking you. Say, no, I did exactly what the sign on the road said.
the best part is normally, even when they make a mistake, it's just kind of left there for a while for people to take pictures and just like be bemused and confused as to what's going on.
And spread around the world.
Yeah.
Okay, one more.
And the last picture I have here today can only be described as either spider wife or parkour legend. You decide.
Yeah, well, that's one way to get from A to B. Take a hitch a ride. Maybe it's a skateboarder and the truck stopped suddenly.
There's a lot of questions. Is she hiding? Is she trying to balance the truck? Is the truck going to make it through the underpass?
And of course, the big question is, what's in the back of that truck?
We don't know. No one knows.
All right, thank you for those. We'll take a quick break. Thank you to our sponsors, Shambhala, on Good Morning Thailand. We'll be back right after this.
Indonesia's most active volcano, Mount Merapi, near Yogyakarta, erupted yesterday, belching ash into the air with red lava flowing down its crater and blanketing local communities in grey ash. Business groups in Hong Kong have reacted negatively following a tightening of travel restrictions for residents returning from more than a dozen countries that include United States, France, and Spain. Malaysian Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin handed his resignation to the king yesterday, but will stay on as interim premier, after months of political turmoil culminated in the loss of his parliamentary majority. Japanese athletes' success at their home Olympics is the start of a wider Asian tilt at the Olympics, playing host more often and notching up record medal counts. A man was seriously injured after he and his 4-year-old son were shot by Burmese troops in a village in Chin State in the west of Myanmar.
So that was our regional headlines. We'll have Thailand's main stories coming up soon. But Jay, we've got a little bit more of Only in Thailand.
We do. I have two stories here. One, let me start off with the Temple of Dawn, Wat Arun, which is a very famous temple in Thailand.
Probably Thailand's most photographed temple.
Yes.
I will turn the sound off on my computer. Thank you for reminding me.
Now, so last St. Patrick's Day, Thailand decided to do something very special. Like how the Eiffel Tower in Paris sometimes illuminates itself in certain colors to, promote certain events. Thailand's Wat Arun decided to do it for St. Patrick's Day.
This is the Irish national holiday.
Yeah, so have a look at this picture. And Wat Arun has been illuminated fully, in the Irish green to support St. Patrick's Day. And the Tourism Authority quoted saying that this move means to publicize Thailand's positive image to the world, in addition to foreign embassies and communities based in Bangkok, and pave the way for future sustainable development in the Thai capital. Now,
how did they get all that out of painting Wat Arun green for St. Patrick's Day?
Well, not paint, but just illuminate with a lot of lights. Now,
is this a statement from the TAT?
Yes.
Oh, that explains it. Drinking a bit too much Guinness, I think.
And it just left a lot of people confused. Some people were offended because, Thailand's a Buddhist country and St. Patrick's holidays generally, you're supposed to...
Well, the Irish are usually Catholics.
Yes.
And a few Protestants up north.
But there's a lot of alcohol involved generally in St. Patrick's Day.
I think that would be a feature of the day, yes.
Yeah, but also people were just confused, that why did they choose Wat Arun necessarily to do it? But, other people were happy about it, that, okay, they're being supportive and they're trying to, make something new out of nothing. So what do you think about it?
Well, I think if you're going to do it for St. Patrick's Day, then you sort of have to do it for every other national day as well. Sydney Opera House, for example, gets painted with imagery for special days, but then you sort of have to sit down with a committee and say,
Yeah.
well, what days are we going to support and how are we going to use our national icons to show support for all these different cultures around the world. It was a bit of a one-off, I think. But another bit of good news, and we've spoken about this before, but we actually got some photos to show you these amazing creatures.
Right, so Labradors, man's best friend, and some of the most adorable and friendly creatures around the world have now been trained to sniff out COVID patients. So in collaboration with Chevron Thailand, PQA Associates, and the Faculty of Veterinary Science in Chulalongkorn University, 6 Labrador retrievers have been trained to detect COVID-19 carriers. And the reason this is great is because it's actually meant to target the people who have asymptomatic COVID-19 symptoms and who don't show any symptoms. So the dogs are trained to go up to them and smell the sweat, and by that they can detect who has COVID-19 and who doesn't.
If you arrive in Australia as taking a flight into Australia, you'll be surprised many times by the little beagles that come out, and they run around all the luggage sniffing for drugs.
Yes.
So it's really good technology using these creatures' astonishing sense of smell for to benefit other people.
Yeah, and it's great because it's going to be of great help, especially for people with asymptomatic symptoms who there might not be another way to find out. So I think this is a good move.
Right, so there's some good little stories on Good Morning Thailand Tuesday. We're going to come back with the main news stories from around Thailand and the weather. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. It's a bright Tuesday morning, and now it's time for the top stories with Tim.
Thanks, Jay. It's emerged that a young protester was shot in the neck by police on Sunday evening and said to remain in a critical condition as of late last night. The protester has not been identified but is reported to be around 20 years old. Sunday's protest started at Victory Monument and then headed towards Government House, where police used tear gas on protesters who had entered a restricted zone. The protester was shot in the neck outside a police station near the Din Dang intersection around 9 p.m. The Royal Thai Police have not made a statement or confirmed that the protester was shot by an officer at this time. Following a vigorous PETA campaign that included formal complaints to the top Department of Defense officials and protests in the US, the Royal Thai Embassy has confirmed that no snakes, lizards or any other animals were used or killed in this year's Cobra Gold military exercises in Thailand. Bizarre rituals including drinking cobra blood and eating chickens and geckos alive, along with scorpions and tarantulas, had been a media favourite during the annual Cobra Gold military exercises between Thailand and the US. A PETA spokesperson says such frat boy barbarity needs to be relegated to the history books, and this year demonstrates that no animals should ever be used at Cobra Gold events. The so-called 7+7 island hop extension to the Phuket Sandbox reopening scheme has been approved by the CCSA, allowing travellers from overseas who are vaccinated against COVID-19 to enter Phuket, stay on the island for 7 days, and then travel on a sealed route to specified destinations in Suratani, Krabi and Phang Nga, including the Gulf Islands and Khao Lak. The Tourism Authority of Thailand has been pushing for the CCSA to approve the 7+7 plan to allow the so-called sandboxes to travel on sealed routes to specified destinations. The new measures are in effect from today. The plan was approved during yesterday's CCSA General Meeting, chaired by PM Prayut Chan-o-cha. A monk who runs a Buddhist meditation centre in northern Thailand's Phitsanulok province has resolved a long-running argument with another man by allegedly shooting the other man dead. Sai Yoi police say the shooting, which took place at the Ratchathani Buddhist Meditation Centre, was reported to the police yesterday morning. Thai media say the monk gave up a gun to the police and surrendered. The body of a 67-year-old was lying dead nearby with gunshot wounds on his body. It's unknown at this time what the two men were arguing about before the shooting. The research team behind the development of a locally developed mRNA COVID vaccine are asking the government to help finance the project and relax regulations so the new vaccine can be ready before next April. The leader of the research team behind the Chula Vac 001 under the Chulalongkorn University's Faculty of Medicine has announced the vaccine's preliminary success after the first phase of human trials. Dr. Kiat said that the Chula COVID-19 vaccine has a high efficacy rate in preventing COVID-19 infections at 94%, the same as the Pfizer vaccine. Starting up in the capital, and moderate air up there today. Temperatures 34, 35 and 36. Very neat over the next 3 days. And we've got a combination of wet season, sun, cloud and rain. Temperatures down to 26, 27 at night. In Phuket, and they've got some moderate air conditions there as well today. Temperatures of 28 throughout the forecast period. A little bit of rain, but plenty of sunshine over the next few days. To the northeast of Thailand, and we've got temperatures of 34 and 35. Cloudy today, but a bit of sun peering through the next few days. Temperatures down to 24 at night. Up in the north, and we've got clear air generally. Temperatures of 32 over the next 3 days, down to 21 and 22 at night. It's almost freezing in Thailand, and we've got a bit of sun, but also some rain during the forecast period. To the central Gulf Coast, and temperatures of 32 and 31 over the next few days. Generally cloudy today, but the sun peering through over the next couple of days with a little bit of rain. And to Pattaya, we've got generally clear air there. Temperatures of 30 and 31 down to 26 at night. Generally cloudy there today, but the sun will peer through over Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit of rain as well. I hope the weather's good in your part of the world. We only do 6 weathers at the moment. Somebody wrote to us yesterday and said, can you do Koh Samui as well? I mean, we start to sort of having to do all the different locations. We would say Samui is probably covered in our central Gulf Coast part of the report. But yeah, we're sort of looking at ways to improve the program, and the weather is part of it. My big idea is to get a ladyboy to present the weather. Or we'll put you in a dress. One way or the other, okay. I think there is room for improvement, and we look forward to your suggestions. We also have our Thaiger Bites segment,
yes,
which is also on YouTube, and that's when we go through all your comments in detail. I think we've got about 20 of your comments in today's program. Thank you for joining us on behalf of Jay and me, and thank you to Jason for pressing the buttons. We'll be back again tomorrow morning with another Good Morning Thailand.